physical basis of heredity. Now, what is physical basis of heredity? Heredity, we know that we are talking with the structures of DNA. So, when we talk about DNA, we talk about the genetics, we talk about the genes. So, what is the physical basis of heredity? So, it is trying to refer the tangible structures. Now, what is tangible structures in the molecules? That is the structure of DNA. And the structure of DNA has some traits which is passed on from one generation to the next. From one generation to the next generation, there is continuous transfer of genes. What we our parent has, it has been transferred to us, and from us it will be moved to the next generation. After Mendelian's abstract law, scientists has thought of to understand whether the genes are they actually exist physically or it is just an imagination, and this led to the discovery of the structure of chromosomes, DNA, and genes. Now moving towards the cell and the nucleus. We all know that cell is the basic unit of life, and inside the cell, in eukaryotic cell, there exists nucleus, and inside that nucleus remains the study material, that is the DNA. And in DNA there exist genes. So every living organisms, as we all know, are made up of cell, and the control center of the cells is the nucleus, and in each nucleus we can observe chromosomes which are made up of DNA and proteins. DNA is the deoxyribonucleic acid, but when it combines with protein, that is specifically the histone proteins, it is known as chromosomes. Now, what basically chromosome is? It is the carrier of heredity. Whenever we talk about the genes, we are talking about chromosomes as a part of the functional unit of life. Now, this chromosome was discovered by Walter Fleming in 1879. Now, at present, we are in 2025, but still we have to go back to 1879 to know the discovery of this chromosome. So, the great scientist at that era has given us this gift to study the basic structures of chromosomes and made our study quite easier. Now, further linked it to the heredity by Sarton and Boveri, he has confirmed, or they have confirmed, that yes, there is some part of DNA which are responsible for transfer from parents to the next generation, and this transfer from parent to the next generation is basically heredity. Humans have 46 pairs, 46 chromosome, that is 23 pairs in each somatic cells, and there exist the somatic cells in throughout the body except the sex chromosomes in the germ cells. Chromosomes exist in pairs, and whenever we talk about the pairing, one comes from the mother and one comes from the father. And this recombination exists in or between the paternal and the maternal chromosomes during meiosis, during the formation of chiasmata formation, and it leads to the chromosome theory of inheritance, where it is stated that the chromosomes are the only basic molecules for inheritance or heredity. Chromosomes theory of inheritance, it is proposed by Sutton and Boveri. It states that genes are located on chromosomes, and it is the chromosomes that segregate independently as or during meiosis. When we talk about meiosis, in that case, there is independent assortment and segregation of the chromosomes. Then we talk about genes, the functional unit of heredity. Now, what gene is? It's a part of DNA, and the part of DNA which code for a protein or which can synthesize a functional RNA, specifically mRNA. that part of mRNA will give rise to a protein. So that much portion of DNA, I'm repeating again, the DNA is an entire length of or a thread like structures, but that entire thread does not code for any part of protein. So some part of that thread codes for a protein, and that much part of the thread is known as genes. So gene determines the trait, whatever functional protein it has coded for, or it is denoting it. So that is determined by the traits. It is located at specific locations on the chromosomes, and according to Bedell and Tatum, one gene, one enzyme hypothesis. They have given one gene, one enzyme hypothesis, means one gene will code for a specific protein, as all the proteins are basically some enzymes are made up of proteins. So one enzyme, one gene. One enzyme is obtained from one gene. That is the concept which was given Tettel and Tatum. So when we talk about the structure, this is the entire structure of DNA, but some part are known as gene, and from that part of genes there is sequence codes for the unique proteins, and then that proteins can come up or joined up to form a functional protein, or individually all the genes can be active, can individual work as a protein. So that is, the entire part is DNA, and the specific parts are the gene which is coding a specific protein. Now when we talk about this, we move towards the structure of DNA, that is the molecular basis of structure of DNA. DNA was identified as a genetic material by an experiment demonstrated by Avery, McLeod and McCarty, and it was confirmed by Hershey and Chase, the experiment of mice. In 1952, they have confirmed. Before it, in 1944, it was confirmed that DNA is a genetic material. Now, when we talk about the structure, it is a double helix structure. This double helical structure was proposed by Watson and Crick in 1952, and it is made up of nucleotides adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. There are four nitrogenous bases which covers or which is present in DNA, that is the deoxyribonucleic acid. The sequence of the bases is determining the genetic information what it has hold. From DNA, it will transcript to form mRNA, and mRNA will be translated to form the protein, and that protein's quality or the expression is the trait. So this is the Watson and Crick model. We can see that there is two strands, one is parallel, another is anti-parallel orientation, 3 dash to 5 dash. There is pairing of A with T and G with C. A and T has double bond, G and C has triple bond. There is minor grooves and major grooves. They have sugar phosphate backbones. This is the basic structures of DNA. Now, when we talk about the crossing over, we have it is observed in the chiasmata formation in meiosis. There is physical process where both the chromosomes can get overlapped, and after overlapping they get segregated. While segregating, they are transferring some of the portions of their parts of gene from one part to the other. Meiosis is the process that forms gametes, and a reduction of the chromosome number to half, because after formation of half then there will be combination from the paternal and maternal, and again it will become a full chromosome setup. There is segregation of alleles, there is independent assortment, and there is process of chiasmata formation, which basically gives the um, inheritance of the new diversions, a new crossover. Linkage and recombination. If we talk about linkage, all the genes in the DNA are not always segregated. Some genes move together. So that genes or those genes which move together are known as linked genes. The reason behind moving together is as the distance between both the genes is very less. So there is no formation or no process of chiasmata formation. They easily get joint up and move together. So all those genes which are moving together many a times or always they are moving together, they are known as linked genes. But there are fragments which get recombined every time as there is distance between distance between both the genes is very high. So there is recombination possibilities and the crossing over during meiosis, and it explains that genetic variations are available due to crossovers. Next is mutations. When we talk about genetic recombination, it is due to the paternal and maternal recombination in meiosis. But there are some chances of chromosome changes or the expression of the chromosome get changed while there is a change in the environment or some harsh conditions which can genuinely change the structure of DNA. They can actually damage the structure of DNA, and those changes are known as mutations. The mutations which occur in a single locations are known as point mutation, whereas if the mutation is due to addition of some part of DNA or deletion of some part of DNA or duplications, the structure of chromosomes get changed, and as the structure or the length of the chromosome is changing, it is basically changing the sequence of the chromosome, sequence of the nitrogenous bases. And this change in the sequence of nitrogenous bases will result in change in chromosomes, because if we have already studied DNA sequencing. Now some part of the DNA is duplicated, so the same sequence is repeated again. Now when we do sequencing, we will observe that some sequences are repeated, and due to that repetition, when we talk about transcription and translation, then the amino acid codation will change, and as amino acids will be changed, then the protein will also be changed. And that change, if results in a negative effect, then it is a mutation. There are also sometimes positive mutation occurring in the DNA. Cytoplasmic inheritance, it is again another technique which is a non-Mendelian genetics. Mendel does not have ever reported of cytoplasmic inheritance. He have already shown only that dihybrid cross, and he only talked about independent assortment, law of dominance. There is no intermediate expression is not expressed by Mendel. Mendel has always given the law of dominance, that whenever there is one dominating gene available, then it will always express. But there are existence of cytoplasmic inheritance. Cytoplasm, there are organelles like mitochondria and chloroplast which inherit maternally. So, because the sperms of the male cell will fuse with the female, but all the basic cell is that of female. So the maternal chromosomes, maternal mitochondria and the chloroplast will remain as such. So maternal inheritance can be through cytoplasm, through mitochondria and chloroplast. This is known as extra chromosomal inheritance, because mitochondria and chloroplast both have the extra DNA. So mitochondrial diseases, the variegated leaves in plants, all these are due to the cytoplasmic inheritance present in the mitochondria or chloroplast. When we talk about epigenetics, the modern extensions, epigenetics is the study of heritable characters in gene expressions without the change in DNA sequence. There is factors like DNA methylation, histone modification. All these are influenced due to the environmental changes, lifestyle changes, and some diseases. So these changes are also observed in the structure of DNA. If we want to summarize it, we can see that a nucleus contains the chromosomes, and the chromosomes carry the genes. Genes will code for a protein that has a determined trait. When we talk about DNA, there is the chemical basis of genes, and then the meiosis, it ensures that there is segregation and variations. There are mutations which can generate new traits as well as create disorders. In cytoplasm, there is extranuclear inheritance, which we can observe in mitochondria and chloroplast. There are epigenetic factors which can regulate the gene expressions. Now, finally, we can conclude that the physical basis of hereditary is connected with Mendelian principle, but are not absolutely 100%. It deals with the cell biology, molecular biology, and modern genetics. Chromosomes and genes are the tangible units that can carry the expressed genetic information, ensuring the continuity of the life from one generation to the next. So, it is very important that there is recombinations, there are positive recombinations, positive mutations, so that the disease can be reduced and the genetics will be more exposed to the higher wonders. Thank you for being with me. It is here we can finish up with the physical basis of hereditary. Next topic will be the chemical basis of hereditary, where we deal about the chemical aspects of the DNA or the heritation. So if you like it, if you have understood what I have taught, then do share it with your friends who has the same syllabus, so that they can also be benefited from it. Thank you and happy study.